dudes ain't trolling or hating something because it's popular when people are listing valid fucking reasons. Gacha is fucking Rxtxrxdxd. It's gambling and exploits people. But unlike gambling, if I win, I can cash out and get money. Eventually this game will die down and you are going to be left W9th, a bunch of pixels that are literally worthless. Oh, this is something. First of all, notice it says, oh, Genshin is just like gambling. But it's not just like gambling, because gambling is better. So is it like gambling or is it not like gambling? Huh? Also, this whole, oh, you're left with a bunch of pixels that are literally worthless. Oh, this kind of logic can be applied to anything. Just, oh, you went to the movie theater to watch a movie. You know that you don't even get a copy of the movie. You just watched it and then just those useless pixels in your mind. And then you'll get nothing. You paid money and got nothing in return. Oh, this is worthless.
I mean, and remember, it exploits people. I mean, the Miyoyo CEO is personally going home from home, knocking on doors, kicking them down, and holding you at gunpoint. You're going to gamble in my game, and you're going to give me your money for the glory of the Chinese party. At this point, nobody's forcing him to play or pay in the game anyway.
But that's the thing, though. Eventually this game will die down. That's true of literally every single game as a service. And yeah, it's not a good thing. Trust me, I'm not just trying to say that, oh, it's nothing. Because, yeah, all the games that are, games as a service, they all will be closed down at some point.
Speaking of gaming, can I mention this here? But my nephew just called me. He told me that he bought Grand Theft Auto the Definitive Edition. I said, yeah, I told him, dude, that's the most broken game you've ever bought. What the fuck were you thinking? Oh, he bought it on the Xbox One, from what I recall.
Oh, and speaking of...
It's something.
That's right. Those are basically remastered versions of old games, but they require internet access. So if you don't have internet, you can't play them, even though those are ancient games that played perfectly fine without internet. And I guess that if Rockstar servers go down, or Take-Two's, whoever servers those are, you won't be able to play them, even though the game does not require internet. But it requires it artificially, even though it doesn't need it. So yeah.
Okay, John actually sort of has a point. The game will eventually die down. Yes, that's a given. There's going to be they're going to be shutting down. They might be shutting down servers or multiplayer servers. They might be shutting down again for different reasons. Like they can't afford them because the maintenance for servers it's more expensive than actually running the servers themselves. Yeah. But pixels are literally worthless. Look, man, it's not as much as that, but rather the memories that you have playing the game in the first place.
Again, it's one of those comments that is technically true, but it's really kind of misdirected, because guess what? Any game that has is always online and has in-game purchases, like be it an MMO or some other type of game. Well, yeah, when the game shuts down, all your purchases are gone. But then again, that's kind of not saying it's good, but it's not something that is like unique to Genshin. Like, he has to hate every single game that is online only and requires a central server connection. Okay. Gacha games rely on needless time padding like time wasting. Is there time padding that is not time wasting? It's like...
You played the games and you pretty much wasted, quote unquote, wasted time.
Grinding loops to keep you paywall locked. What? Paywall locked?
I mean...
No, it's either paywalled or locked behind... Also grinding until you've gathered enough shit to barely bypass the wall with scraps of content, and the game's abysmal drop rate decides to grace you with... Clearly this guy hasn't played the game. This guy just saw a couple of really egregious FTP games and then decided that every single one that has similar mechanics is just as bad. And that's the problem with hasty generalization. It's so...
Yeah, and...
we do sound like we're shooting for MiHoYo, but we're not. We play the game, but honestly, some of these opinions are just Straight up misconception more than anything else.
I mean, if what we are saying is correct, objectively or subjectively, it's not really shilling, even though we seem to be defending them, but that's whatever. What can you do? But what I wanted to mention is that, I mean, I think he refers to the fact that you can pay a premium currency, the primogems, to get resin, which is the stamina system in the game. But that really doesn't matter that much. You have a hard limit. I think it's like 300 primogems per day, roughly per day, which is roughly the same amount of stamina, a bit less maybe. But the point is that, I mean, it doesn't make that much of a difference. It will not really make you complete the plot faster. It doesn't really help you complete the challenges faster. So, I mean, it helps with the horrible artifact RNG, but that's the only thing. And all you have to do is be patient as much as you hate the artifact RNG, though.
Yeah, and also let's not forget that there is no paywall behind the story. You know, you're basically you can, and nobody is forcing you to just grind incessantly. If you build only the characters you really need, and you don't need that many, you can do all the game content using just literally 4 characters to deal with the elemental shields. Clearly, he hasn't played the game. It was because it's nowhere near as grindy as as others. Because, trust me, either he hasn't played Genshin or hasn't played any other game besides Genshin. Because when it comes to grindiness, well, it's not even close.
I wonder if has he ever played Final Fantasy or any other RPG? It's it takes a bit of luck as well. Just a good measure. You need luck as well, regarding some of the bosses and some of the things that you're gonna need. So,
yeah.
And also, RPG is like a grind genre in itself, and compared to some other even like single player games with no in-game purchases, Genshin isn't that grindy. Because I've played single player games where you cannot buy anything for real money, and they're like much grindier. So again, this is one of those comments that are just making shit up. Oh, this one. Speaking of making shit up, look at this. The lolly shit makes me drop it, and I made it through Xenoblade 2. Like, what lolly shit? Just because it has children as characters doesn't mean it's like, no, this lolly shit. If you look at a child character and think about, looting lollies, the problem is not with the game. Problem is inside your head. So
let's just say this guy deserves to be on an actual watch list because, I mean, this is actually, I do want to mention, in the game, there's nothing suggestive on the characters, on the child characters. There may be some mildly suggestive content on the characters that are teenagers at worst, but that's whatever, really.
Yeah, but then again, those. You know what this reminds me of, actually? When someone is virtue signals about, my kid diddlers, those are all your bad people because they're child characters, so obviously want to diddle them. Reminds me of this guy. Remember, games journalist.
Oh,
you know where this guy is now? He's in prison. Yeah, this guy's in prison for attempting to solicit sex for the minor.
Yeah, people who usually talk that kind of shit usually have some massive skeletons in their closets or garages, either one.
Oh, this one is painfully stupid. Clearly hasn't played it.
Rock, paper, scissors combat, anti-world and fairly shitty assets. Empty. Have you actually explored this fucking game?
He hasn't.
I mean, honestly, if it's holy shit, the miles per diameter is it's actually one of the biggest maps out there. Like it's GTA 5 levels of big.
No, this is first of all rock paper scissors combat. No, it's not. The funny thing is that the previous MiHoYo game had a similar system where it actually was rock paper scissors. Like in Honkai Impact 3, there were mechanical, biological, and psychic units. So was mechanical were strong against biological was strong against psychic, and psychic were strong against mechanical. And also there were imaginary and quantum strong against each other. But that's not how Genshin works. Genshin, the only thing that comes even close is elemental shields. So there's always the best counter. For example, pyro shields are best countered with hydro attacks, hydro shields with cryo attacks, and so on. But those are not the only way to deal with the shields. For example, you can deal with pyro shields with Electra or with cryo. They're not as effective, but it's still effective. So it's not even like hard rock paper scissors. Actually, no. You know where's rock paper and scissors in Genshin? The Electro Hypostasis boss, because it turns into rock paper scissors, like literally with this.
Yeah. Aleph is the only character that I know that actually does this.
Also, notice defend their point. Yeah, grammar. What's up with this? I mean, yeah, it's from Facebook, but really, what's up with those criticisms and that really terrible grammar?
Yeah, this comment actually reminds me of a friend, an IRL friend that I have. I showed the game to her, and the first thing that she complained about was actually something unrelated to the comment, which is leveling with XP tickets. But the second thing was that she complained that some elements are stronger than others in certain cases, which is really dumb. Because if you remove the elements, the game would become a left-click fest, and that's it.
The funny thing is that it's literally every single RPG that has elemental attacks. Well, not maybe every single, but usually if you have fire attacks and ice attacks, obviously they are more effective against certain enemies because they have elemental resistances against certain elements. It's like, why even have fire attacks if it does the same damage as ice attack to every single enemy? Elemental resistances and elemental weaknesses are there to spice up the combat, so you don't just left click or use your most powerful abilities every time and win.
You guys ever play Pokemon when you were kids? It's it's on the. All right, so basically, more or less the same premise as Genshin regarding the elemental. Basically, the closest the Geo would be ground type, the water types would be weak against fire and ice. Then you got the fire types who will be weak against water. It's common sense, really, regarding the weaknesses or elements besides the strengths.
Yeah, I mean, once you think about it, the system is actually very what do you call it? When something is easy when you first look at it, I mean, obviously, water and fire are going to have a stronger interaction than water and ice, for example.
Yeah, it's
intuitive.
Like using real life logic. It makes not all of it makes sense. For example, I'm still not sure why electro shields are weak against ice attacks. It's kind of well, again, it's video game logic.
I mean, cold can discharge batteries. I guess that's the logic. That's my guess.
Maybe. Oh, it doesn't matter. So the idea is that elemental weaknesses and elemental resistances are there to make combat more diverse and less stale. Because if every single enemy took the same amount of damage from every single type of attack, then why even diversify your own party? Just use the same character, just hit it with a stick until it dies. Cavemen not like hard mechanics, cavemen like bash with stick.